The hand moves before the bill even touches the table. No pause, no glance around the group, no quiet negotiation about who gets what. The most senior person present takes it, and that's the end of the conversation. By the time new money has opened a calculator app, the moment has already passed. That one gesture contains an entire value system, and it's just the beginning. These codes were never written down because they were never meant to be taught. They were meant to be absorbed the way children absorb language, through proximity and repetition over years, not through instruction. Every behavior in this list solves a real problem. How do you hold a family together across 5 generations? How do you signal trust to someone without saying a single word about money? How do you protect wealth from the people who want to take it, including sometimes your own relatives? The Kwok family built Sun Hung Kai Properties into one of Hong Kong's largest real estate empires. The Tata family has managed a conglomerate across more than a century of political upheaval. The Wee family built UOB into a regional banking institution that outlasted dozens of competitors. The Gokongwei family turned a single cornstarch business into JG Summit, one of the Philippines' most diversified conglomerates. None of them published a rulebook. But if you watch long enough, the patterns emerge. That's where this story begins. Behavior 1. They pay the bill every time. The most senior person at the table pays. Not because they want to perform generosity, and not because they're keeping score. They pay because money, in old money circles, is a relationship instrument, not a transaction. The bill is a small test of social grammar, and everyone in the room is reading the result. Among Filipino-Chinese taipan families, the host who allows a guest to reach for the bill has committed a quiet failure. It signals that the hierarchy of care wasn't maintained. In Hong Kong, Cantonese tycoon circles, the same logic holds. The person with the longest standing in the room absorbs the cost because that's what standing means. It isn't charity, it's governance. New money splits the bill, not because they're cheap, but because fairness is the goal. Dutch, 50-50, itemized, app calculated. It's logical, it's clean. It's also a completely different social physics, one where money marks the boundary between people rather than the bond between them. The detail most people miss is this: old money never discusses money at the table. The bill is handled the way breathing is handled. No one narrates it. No one thanks anyone for it. It simply disappears, and the conversation continues. If you're finding this useful, subscribe now. There are 7 more behaviors coming, and they get more counterintuitive from here. Behavior 2. They never raise their voice in public. This one is subtle enough that most people walk past it without noticing. In Singaporean Peranakan and Chinese establishment circles, a raised voice doesn't signal passion or emphasis. It signals loss of control. And loss of control, in rooms where serious capital moves, signals risk. The Wee family's culture of measured, deliberate communication in professional settings is well documented. The pattern is consistent across the Singaporean establishment more broadly. You speak at a register that requires the other person to lean toward you. You never project outward to fill the room. New money uses volume as emphasis. Loudness reads as confidence. The room becomes aware of your presence before you've said anything worth hearing. Old money makes you lean in. They never project out. That distinction is everything. Behavior 3. They never quote specific numbers in casual conversation. This is the unspoken rule that takes the longest to notice. In Hong Kong, Tycoon families, mentioning a specific deal size or property value in a social setting is considered a form of vulgarity. It reduces the relationship to a transaction. It tells the room what you're trying to establish, which is precisely the information old money refuses to volunteer. Across Indian industrial house families, the same cultural pattern holds. Business and social conversation stay in separate rooms, and the numbers stay in the business room. You don't bring the ledger to the dinner table. New money anchors status with specifics. The deal was worth this much. The apartment cost that much. The fund returned a certain percentage. These figures are social proof, deployed deliberately. When old money wants you to understand the scale of something, they let you discover it yourself. They mention the building they're renovating and leave you to do the research. The number lands harder when you find it on your own. Behavior 4. The same school. Every generation. New money chases rankings. If a better school opens or a different city offers a stronger program, new money moves toward it. The optimization is always for right now, for the best available option at this moment in time. That logic makes complete sense if you're building a career. It misses the point entirely if you're building a dynasty. The Gokongwei family's documented commitment to specific Manila institutions isn't nostalgia. The Kwok family's multi-generational ties to Hong Kong's elite schools aren't sentiment. These are structural decisions with a 40-year payoff horizon. The school is the network, and the network is the inheritance. When old money sends a child to the same school their grandfather attended, they're not buying an education. They're buying a relationship with every family that has been sending children to that school for the past 3 or 4 generations. The classmate sitting next to your child today is the business partner, the banker, the regulator, the board member of 30 years from now, and the families already know each other. The trust is already partially built before the children are old enough to understand what trust means. New money treats school choice the same way it treats any investment decision. Optimize for the highest present return, switch when something better appears. But network capital doesn't work like that. You can't compress 40 years of shared history into a better alumni directory. The relationship has to be lived slowly across decades before it becomes the kind of trust that moves real resources. Old money isn't buying a school, they're buying time, and they know exactly what they're buying it for. Behavior 5. They serve elders first. Always. Watch who pours the tea first at a table of 3 generations. That one act will tell you more about how a family actually operates than any org chart or shareholder agreement ever could. Across Filipino-Chinese taipan families, the choreography at the table is not casual. The most senior person in the room receives food and tea before anyone else touches theirs. Not as a performance of respect, and not because tradition demands it, because it's governance in miniature. Every time it happens, the family rehearses its own hierarchy. The children absorb who holds weight in the room without a single word being spoken about authority. In Tata family culture, documented across decades of organizational writing and heir formation, the deference to elders functions the same way. It isn't politeness. It's a daily reminder of the structure that holds a multi-generational family together when the money gets large enough to pull people apart. New money treats the table as casual. Everyone serves themselves. Guests get priority because hospitality is the goal. The logic is reasonable, but it misses what the ritual is actually doing. Hierarchy maintained in small daily acts is hierarchy that doesn't need to be asserted in large ones. By the time a serious decision arrives, everyone already knows their position in the room. Behavior 6, they wear the same suit twice in a week. This is the behavior that new money finds hardest to believe because it runs directly against the logic of social visibility. New money rotates. New outfit signals new week, new meeting, new statement. Clothing is social communication, and repeating it feels like sending the same message twice. Among Singaporean establishment families, re-wearing a well-made suit to back-to-back engagements is not an oversight. It's a signal directed at a very specific audience. The person who notices that you're wearing the same jacket on Tuesday that you wore on Monday and reads it as confidence rather than carelessness, that person already understands the grammar. And that person is exactly who old money is speaking to. The same cultural restraint runs through Hong Kong tycoon circles. The suit is a tool. It does its job well, so you use it again. What old money is refusing to do is perform. The clothes are not a costume. They're not there to establish who you are in each new room. The people whose opinions matter already know who you are. New money dresses for the room, for the moment, for visibility. Old money dresses for themselves, knowing that the people worth impressing have long since stopped looking at the label. The detail most people miss is this: the only signal old money sends through clothing is quality of fabric, and only the people who know. Tell me in the comments which of these behaviors surprised you most. I genuinely want to know what you're noticing. Behavior 7. They marry inside established networks. The introduction often happens long before anyone calls it a relationship. The two families have been socially proximate for 2 or 3 generations. The children have attended the same schools, shown up at the same club events, sat at adjacent tables, at the same philanthropic dinners for most of their lives. By the time anyone thinks of it as a match, the groundwork has already been laid across decades. This is not arranged marriage in the way most people imagine that phrase. There's no negotiation table, no formal introduction with expectations attached. It's something quieter and more structural than that. It's a gravitational pull toward people who share the same formation, the same unspoken codes, the same long horizon. The proximity was engineered. The relationship that develops inside it feels, and usually is, entirely genuine. Behavior 8, their children discover the wealth themselves. This is one of the most counterintuitive things old money does. And it's also one of the most deliberate. The child grows up in a household that is clearly comfortable, good schools, good food, good address. But the full picture, the scale of what the family actually controls, is withheld, not accidentally, not out of awkwardness, by design. The philosophy documented across Tata family heir formation and reflected in the Wee family's governance structures comes down to a single observation. Children who understand too early what they stand to inherit stop developing the hunger that built it. The urgency goes quiet. The calibration drifts. What takes a founder 30 years of relentless focus to build can be softened in a single generation by children who grew up inside the display of it. New money does the opposite. The children are raised inside the wealth from the beginning. The cars, the travel, the addresses, all visible, all normalized early. The intention is generosity. The result is often a child who has no internal reference point for what life looks like without those things, and therefore no real understanding of what it costs to create them. Old money children often spend years working entry-level positions at companies their own families have owned for decades. No special treatment, no fast track, no hint from colleagues about whose name is on the trust documents. The lesson isn't performed humility, it's calibration. You need to understand the weight of the thing before you're handed it. Otherwise, you'll carry it wrong. Behavior 9. The hobby that looks unimpressive. New money buys hobbies the same way it buys everything else, for visibility and signal strength. The yacht, the supercar collection, the membership at the most photographed golf club. These are acquisitions, and they communicate what they're meant to communicate. You have arrived. Old money cultivates hobbies that do the opposite. Among Hong Kong Cantonese tycoon families and Singaporean establishment circles, the hobby that reads as low status to an outside observer is a deliberate choice. Calligraphy. Orchid cultivation. Traditional chess. A quiet interest in local history. An amateur-level commitment to painting that will never produce anything worth selling. The Cheng family's documented interest in arts patronage and the Gokongwei family's documented personal simplicity both reflect a pattern that appears consistently across these circles. The hobby isn't about relaxation, though it may provide that. It's about finding rooms where no one is performing, where people relate to you as a person rather than as a balance sheet. When your hobby looks unimpressive, the people who show up for it are there because they actually share the interest. That filters out an enormous amount of noise. It creates a context for real relationship, for real trust, outside the formal structures where everyone already knows what everyone else is worth. Old money collects those rooms carefully. New money rarely finds them because new money's hobbies signal too loudly to attract the right kind of quiet. Behavior 10. They plan in decades, not quarters. Every behavior we've covered comes back to this one. The bill paying, the school continuity, the marriage patterns, the way information about wealth is withheld from children. None of it makes sense if you're optimizing for the current cycle. All of it makes complete sense if you're engineering for the generation after next. The Tata Group's documented 100-year infrastructure investments aren't a strategy. They're a philosophy expressed in capital allocation. The Kwok family's multi-generational property strategy in Hong Kong reflects the same orientation. Singaporean family trust structures, a matter of public record, are routinely written with 50 to 100-year horizons. The question being answered isn't what does this return? It's what does this become in 30 years, in the hands of people who aren't born yet. New money exits at peak valuation. It reinvests based on what's working now. That logic produces excellent returns inside a single lifetime. It produces nothing that survives one. Old money doesn't ask for the return. It asks about the structure. It asks whether the people who come after will understand what they're holding and why it matters. The time horizon is the whole philosophy, and the daily behaviors are just where that philosophy lives. That hand reaching for the bill at the beginning of this story wasn't just generosity, it was a compressed version of everything we've covered. One gesture, 10 behaviors, one answer to the same problem. How do you make wealth last longer than a single lifetime? New money optimizes for now. Old money engineers for later. And the gap between those two orientations shows up not in boardrooms or balance sheets, but in small daily acts. Who pours the tea first? Which school? Again. How the check disappears. Subscribe to Asian Status if you want to keep going deeper into how Asian dynasties actually think and operate. Share this with someone who would appreciate the real codes behind the wealth you see on the surface. And stay close, because the next question worth asking is this: What do old money families teach their children that never appears in any school curriculum? And if you want to know what Asia's richest billionaires do every day to live past 100, watch this video next.